Hello friends, I'm here with a part 3 for our Advent journal. Last time we made the pocket pages, and what I've done is I've taken the pocket page. So this is one of the pocket pages that I made. I think this is one I did off camera. And what I did is I added a few extra pages. So I took some papers and elements from the kit, from the Victorian Christmas Kit, and I shrunk them down to half of an 8.5 by 11 page, which is the size of our other pocket pages, and just embellished them a little bit digitally, and then printed them out. Some of them have lines on the other side. And then what I did is I put 2 of those, then my pocket page, then just a piece of coffee dyed paper that I cut in half from an 8.5 by 11, and then one more decorative page. So that is one signature, and I've done 4 of those exactly the same way, different papers, different pocket pages. So now we're going to put them into a spine. We're going to sew them into a spine. So to do that, I measured one of the signatures when it had all of the ornaments in it, and it was close to 1/2 inch. So I'm going to make a huge spine for this. Because I have 4 signatures, I'm going to do 4 1/2 inch gussets. So I drew this out on a little piece of cardstock. This is what I'm going to initially sew my signatures to. And so what I did is I cut this piece 2.5 inches wide, and it's 5 3/4 inches tall. These pages are about 5.5, so I added just 1/4 inch taller. So 2.5 by 5 3/4. And then what I did is just on my scoring board, you could measure this too, but this was easier for me. I just scored every 1/2 inch. And then I also scored, I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not. If you can see those score lines. So then I scored it 3/4 inch, 3/4 inch, and exactly in half. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my telephone book again, and I'm going to make a hole where the 3/4 inch and the 1/2 inch, the first one, meet. And I'm just going to make a hole there. I'm going to make a hole there, so that's the 1/2 inch mark by the, or the 1/2 inch mark this way by the half of the length there. And then one here. So basically just every place that the lines cross, you need to punch a hole. So I'll just finish up those. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 on each line. So 4 in the bottom, 4 in the middle, and 4 on the top. So then what I'm going to do, I need my phone book still, is I'm going to take my signature, my first signature, and I'm going to just where that one was, the first one was scored, I'm just going to bend it there. It's a little bit easier. And just make sure my pages are stacked up nicely, put them in the crease firmly, and I'm going to put this on top, just line it all up. And it's a tiny bit taller, so I'll just center it from top to bottom, and then I just want to punch all the way through all of those pages, through the holes that I've already made. And if we did it right, then we've got a hole on all of them. The top one didn't come through completely. Let's just punch that one a little bit harder. I need a new awl. This is like an ancient tool, and it's not really the sharpest tool. So one of these days I will get a new awl. So now I have 3 places that we want to put our thread through. So I think I showed you this in another video, and maybe you've seen this other places. It's nothing fancy. I just go in through, well, usually I start in the center. I guess I'll start in the center. So I'll go through the center inside, and then I'll pick the first hole in the middle, so right there, and pull my thread through, leaving a tail here inside so you don't lose your thread. Then you can go through the top and through there and through the rest of the signature where the hole is. Sometimes it takes just a little wiggling to find where those holes are. Trying to get through my pocket page here. There we go. There we go. And there we go. So we just pull that all the way through. Again, leaving your tail inside. Don't lose your tail inside or you have to start over. There we go. And then we will come down to the bottom. I'm got all my pages out of alignment here, so you can put little binder tabs or some binder clips or something on it to keep it still. Sometimes I do that with something little like this. I thought I didn't have to, but maybe I did. Okay, and then you're like this on the outside, and then you go up through the, or back down from the outside into the inside. Probably not explaining this very well, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to line these tails up a little bit more evenly. Okay, and then I'll put one tail on either side of the center string. I just put them like this and tighten them. And you can just make sure that it's nice and tight. Oh, it doesn't seem very tight. Nice and tight on the outside. It should be, you know, fairly taut. And then just tighten that good. And I usually tie 3 knots. 2 is good and 1 for good measure. So 1, 2, and 3. And you can use different things. Traditionally, I'm just going to leave the tails long. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything with them or not. Traditionally, you use wax coated thread for bookbinding. This is just some pink cotton thread that I thought looked good with the book. It's just a really thick cotton, so you want something, you know, strong. But okay, so there is our first signature sewn in. And this is the beginning of our binding. So I'm just going to finish sewing the other 3 in there, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I have all 4 of my signatures sewn into my spine here. So this is what we're going to attach to our cover. This would probably be a really good time to just flip through all of your pages and just make sure everything is good. Make sure everything is right side up and all of that stuff. Because once we glue it in, it's going to be kind of hard to move things. But if you had a mistake now, you could just cut the threads and redo it very easily. So